What's up, guys? Charlie Scruggs here again with another episode of the All Season Podcast. And today we're talking about Bama Hoops. Okay, Bama Hoops opens up a big time win today over Kentucky. SEC play. I believe it was a 15-point win. Pick up where they left off. The last 7 years since Nate Oates has been here, this team has had more wins in SEC play, more SEC tournament titles and conference titles than any other team in the SEC. Big time game today from Aiden Holloway. Had 25, I believe. Big time LeBaron Philon. He's been doing it all year long. He's the SEC leading scorer right now. He's also top 5 in assists and top of the country in steals per game. So as a backcourt, really as a duo, those two are fantastic. And then you add in, Latrell Wright, so Houston Mallette. You're not going to find a better backcourt in college basketball. But the real star today was Noah Williamson. If you've watched Bama Hoops this year, the guy, he's a 7-foot transfer from Bucknell, I believe, senior. He's a veteran, but he looks like I'd say a baby giraffe out there, with all due respect. The guy's kind of clunky and kind of all over the place. But today, Aiden Sherrill, who is, top of the country in blocks per game, he's now grown to 7 foot now in his, I think this is his second year here in Tuscaloosa. He's been big time. He went out today with a knee injury. Noah Williamson came in and had by far his best game in an Alabama uniform. So big time. I imagine he won the Hard Hat Award. I didn't watch the in the clubhouse after the game, they do the little video they do, but I'd imagine he won it, because without him today, when Sherrill came out, Bama was up 21, but Kentucky cut it to 9 at one point, and Bama was able to pull it out. So that's how the game went today. But since we're here, this has been something I've been, itching to talk about for a couple of years now, right? And again, this is my first basketball video, Tide Hoops. Again, SEC play opened up today. It was big time. But I want to talk about the brand of basketball Nate Oates plays, and sort of the, national media sort of what they say that this program, how they play and how they actually play, right? So if you talk to anyone that doesn't watch Alabama basketball closely, or, watch every game or whatnot, you'll hear that they live and die by the three, right? And it's no secret Nate Oates runs an NBA-style offense. He does love to shoot the three ball. His things are, layups, at the rim, open threes and free throws, right? The mid-range is not really a part of what he preaches. You will see, LeBaron or Aiden pull up a little mid-range floater, late in the shot clock, or if they're getting defended well every now and again. But that's what they want to do, right? That's what they want to do. So they do shoot more threes pretty much than anybody in the country, I'll say that. But what people don't realize is last year, Alabama led the country in 2-point percentage, right? So to me, how do you live and die by the three when you went to the Elite Eight, leading the country in 2-point percentage, right? And the thing is, that's been his kind of philosophy since he's been here. And to be honest with you, the last 3-4 teams, they've had phenomenal shooters, but they really haven't shot the ball the way that, like, pretty much Nate Oates and as fans know they can. They'll have times where they'll have a couple games where they'll really, make, 19 threes, shoot 40 of them, and they'll have times where they just make 6 or 7, and they do win a lot of those games that they shoot poorly. And again, that goes back to the 2-point field goal percentage being so high. So my point here is, if you watch Bama basketball, the thing about the players in Nate Oates' system, they don't have a bunch of guys just shooting threes from, 35 feet. They don't have a bunch of guys just big guys under the rim, just catching easy rebounds, putting it up. Bama basketball has freaking ball players, okay? And what I mean by that is if you take away the three ball from them, every single player on that floor can break you down and take you to the rack and freaking score on you, okay? It's not just, you don't get that top of the leaderboard and field goal percentage under the rim just by getting easy rebounds and laying them up. You don't get them like that. You get it by, okay, I'm LeBaron Fallon, I'm Aden Holloway. You're gonna press me, you're gonna put your hands on me, past half court. I'm gonna break you down, whether get a screen or just one-on-one you. I'm gonna take you to the rack, I'm gonna kick it out, get it back, get an easy shot. Like, it's not just if this isn't working, we're going to try this, and if that doesn't work, we're just going to lose the game. No, this team has ball players, and that's been the case the last few years. The difference, I think, this year with this team that you're going to see is, they might not have the big names, like the Brandon Millers or the Colin Sextons, on the team, but they've got higher IQ players and more veterans than they've had in in a long time. I think this is Nate Oates' best team in terms of how they can build on making progress throughout the year and ultimately getting to another Final Four and maybe even a national championship. Right. The big thing with Bama is the last few years, Final Four, Elite Eight, is defensively. Right. They've led the country in scoring the last 3 years, averaging over 90 points a game, but it's just defensively they struggle, right? I mean, the perimeter D is usually pretty good, but they've lacked a big man under the goal to really kind of set the tone there. And Aiden Sherrill, again, he's been that guy so far this year. We'll see if that continues. But you look at the year they went to the Final Four. They had Brandon Miller. They had a bunch of older guys. They were top 10 in the country in offense, and I think top 15 or 20 in defense, and that team made it to the Final Four. And if Brandon Miller doesn't go 3 for 15 against San Diego State, they probably win that game too and go to the national championship. But since then, Alabama has struggled to really get a team that just hones in on defense and finds a way. Actually, I made a mistake there. That Brandon Miller team did not go to the Final Four. They got put out. I think it was either Sweet 16 or Elite Eight, but that was the best team they had, as a whole, right? Top to bottom, offense, defense. The Final Four team was the team that was so bad defensively throughout the year. This was, Aaron Estrada, Grant Nelson, but when the tournament started, if you watched them, they flipped a switch, and defensively were absolutely fantastic, along with Mark Sears hitting big shots and made it to the Final Four. So if you look at the players they got this year, the athleticism, the freshman Amari Allen, he's already won SEC Player of the Week 2 weeks in a row. He's been a little banged up. LeBaron is right now the best guard in college basketball. You got Aiden Sherrill really taking a big step up. You've got Jalil Bethea came in as a big-time transfer. He's trying to find his footing. Latrell Rice will coming back from an Achilles. They have the pieces this year, I believe, to really have the best team Nate Oates has had since he's been in Alabama. It's going to come down to when you match up with a team that's, as big as you, because Bama always has length. They have length at every position. And athletically, again, they're athletic as anybody, but the physicality, the grind like that for, 2 halves, are you going to be able to match up and match that intensity and really find a way through to make it, as far as they want to make it, right? So, again, I just wanted to state that if you're a high school player and you're watching Alabama play, there's no other team that you'd rather play for than Alabama, because they give you all the freedom in the world on offense, and they, Nate Oates says, bust your butt on defense, and you'll find playing time here. So, I just wanted to make that clear that it's not a live and die by the three. Do they want to shoot threes? Yes. Will they take a bunch of threes? Yes. I mean, do they have games like today against the Kentucky where they shot over 50% in the first half? Like, yeah, that's what they want to do. But if they can't do it successfully, again, they will break you down one-on-one, find a way. They're always top of the country and, alley-oops, right? I mean, they get those baskets. So, you know, expect big things from this Alabama team this year. And we all know that the SEC is far and away the best conference now in college basketball. I mean, it's not even close. Last year was like probably a little, you probably won't see that level of dominance again, but they're still the conference, right? I mean, I know at the top right now, you got like Michigan, who I think is the best team in college basketball right now. They're in the Big Ten, but collectively, it's not even close. The SEC is that conference, and they pretty much have been the last handful of years. But again, that separation really showed last year. And again, Nate Oates, his time here at Alabama, more wins than anybody. And I truly believe that he won't be here, let's say, 4 years from now. I think he's going to get an NBA gig here, and we're really going to miss him in Tuscaloosa. But, it's really, really exciting brand of basketball they play. And again, this year, I know a lot of new faces. I think the only returning people for Alabama, Aiden Sherrill, LeBaron Fadlon, Aiden Holloway, Latrell, and Houston Millette was there last year, but he didn't really play much. He kind of redshirted. So a lot of new faces, but ton of athleticism, ton of IQ. Nate Oates said Amari Allen, the true freshman we got that Alabama's got that's won the Freshman of the Week 2 weeks in a row. He said he's the best defender that Alabama has had since Herb Jones. And we all know Herb Jones, was one of, Alabama's, all-time greats of the Nate Oates era. But to say that about him as a freshman, and if you watch him play, you see what he's talking about. So, yeah, I thought I'd come on here today, speak a little Bama hoops. Very excited for the season. Expect this team to be top of the country again in points per game. Scored 89 today. Again, pretty convincing win if you watch the game. Kentucky never really made it close. I think they got within 9 with about 8 minutes left. There was a stretch where Bama missed 7 straight threes. They kind of came back, but then they got a couple steals, made it happen, and closed the game out. So I just want to kind of give like a state of the union for those that all you listen to is the national media. And if you're watching this right now, I want you to know that Bama's not one-dimensional. They're not two-dimensional. Again, they've got absolute ball players, and that's why these Bama players these last few years have translated so well to the NBA, because the NBA is just, right, it's a lot of one-on-one, a lot of ISO ball, a lot of threes now, exactly what Alabama is doing. You look at Colin Sexton's big time in the NBA. Herb Jones just signed a big deal. Kyra Lewis is making his way down there, and he was really young when he went out. He's making his name over there in what is it, Charlotte he's at, or the Pelicans? I think he's in Pelicans. Mark Sears doing his thing. And there's other names I just can't think of right now that are, really showing out, And Brandon Miller probably should have won Rookie of the Year when he was in the NBA's first year. But either way, if you haven't woke up, the last few years, now's the time. I'm giving it to you straight. This Bama team is legit. They've got very high IQ players, very athletic, seasoned players, and if they can find some consistency down low in their front court defensively, Aiden Sherrill, who went out today with a banged up knee, but again, Noah Williamson came in, really just blew it away. I mean, when he scored, every time he scored, the crowd would scream like it was a walk-on scoring. I mean, he was getting rebounds, scoring against a really good, athletic Kentucky team. So that's going to be it. In the comments, you tell me what you think. Tell me if you're excited about Bama basketball, if you even watch it, if you've heard about it, whatever it may be, let me know what you think. So hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.